I even told him today in the live this morning that you were coming over.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I feel like a lot of people, I get to like do this and be in this position with them where they're like just coming and sharing their stuff and they're not commonly doing it, you know? So I'm like, I even told him today. It's kind of cool, I think. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Eat and Greet, where hopefully in the next hour, we're going to give you something that is worth the time you took to show up. And I definitely think that today we will, because we're going to talk about the planetary hours, planetary days of the week, which I think is the coolest topic because I still mostly dress and do things by this. So it's a very cool concept. And I found Miss Sasha Boyle, who I didn't have to look very far. When you guys are in the chat, Sasha's down there with us. It's the coolest deal. She's just like right here, available, like gem, waiting for our consumption. So welcome, Sasha.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. So nice to be here.
And it's so funny because today you're not in the chat.
I know. And I definitely cannot type fast. So I'd rather be talking, honestly. So there we go. Woo-hoo, it's a good day for me.
It's a good day, and it's past. We're just past Mercury retrograde. Mm-hmm. So everybody's got their thinking caps on in a forward motion.
Yeah.
It's good times. Okay. All right. So first and foremost, guys, just a little bit of housekeeping, just so you remember, or if you haven't caught it just yet, if you leave comments underneath a video and you don't see them pop up immediately, it's just because comments are held for a time, not to censor them in any way like we're trying to censor what you're saying, but because we've got the academy going on, there's so many more spam messages coming in that we don't want you guys to have to deal with that. So if you put a comment, I promise it's going to be left and it will be answered. I release them once a day, so don't worry. We're totally seeing you down there. So just kind of keep that in mind, okay? All right, Ms. Sasha, before we get into all of the goodies today, I asked everybody how in the world you got started in astrology.
Oh, right. So I have two answers for that. So I'll start with the first one. If there's time, we'll do the second one. But when I had a pretty stressful time in my life, I had just gotten divorced. I was living in my mom's attic. Nobody was happy about it with two small kids. I was like, oh, how can I elegantly like crawl myself out of this hole that I'm in? And a friend of mine referred me to Wise Guys Astrology, and they did handwritten transit reports for the month. So I could only afford 1 month. It took me months to save up. And I'll tell you what, my question was, when is a good time for me to do art? Like when, because I knew that could like brighten my spirits, make my energy higher, you know? And it was pure magic. It completely started just like this slow movement forward for me. And it was beautiful. And to this day, that's like what I want to do as like through my studying astrology, is to help people like get back into that creative zone, because I believe in it so completely, you know? And then the other part of that is after I had this trans report done and was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I had this wild experience, and I think it was right when Saturn went over my midheaven, and I was doing dishes, and Stormy, it was like a physical experience. Like my grandma used to have a bread holder that when you lifted the lid, it was like corrugated, and it was like, I don't know if you know what I mean. It was like
Yes.
olive, you know, avocado green, and it like opened. I had that sensation on my forehead. It went, and I lost my equilibrium, and I had like some really wild experiences. And I crawled to the bed, called my friend. I was like, I do not know what's going on. And I still, to this day, don't exactly know what's going on, but I had these experiences with astrology, and I started to slowly be able to understand it, where I appreciated it before, but I didn't understand it. And so that was around 2015. So I've been like, I went through a completely obsessive phase, and I might still be in that, and I'm not sure. but just studying, starting off with your class, to be honest, which was perfect. And your, your book, the what is it called? The best little astrology book or something like that?
The most basic astrology book ever.
That's where I needed to start.
Oh my God.
So that's my story. It was for both of them. Ooh, I made it through.
You did. Oh my gosh, I know. And so it's like, it's just really cool to see, on my side where it's come to now for you, and that you're ready to move some more of your own stuff out there. Plus, I just always have a strong affinity for you because we're both Taurus ladies. So it's like to get going in a new direction is a real spiritual experience.
Yeah, that's it.
That's absolutely fabulous. Okay, so why this topic, though? What about it appeals to you? How did we get here?
Right. Okay. So great question. So now I run these, I call them e-shram. So they're virtual retreats, and we work on, one of the components is working on journaling every day and using the tools of astrology. And one component of that is really exploring the planet of the day, right? Because, for example, Mondays, there are certain characteristics of a Monday that are individual in and of itself, because Mondays are ruled by the moon. Mm-hmm. And, it's the watery, female-based, home-based things that seem to flow just so well. So I am currently one of many people who do creativity coaching, who have, our book is coming out soon. It's called Transformational Journaling for Coaches, Therapists, and Clients, a complete guide to the benefits of personal writings. And I'm the only astrologer in there. And so I really tweezed out and practiced with many people this process of charting your days based on the planetary, signature of the day. So did that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm just sitting and listening to the fact that you've got this gorgeous book coming out. I'm like, how did I know this? I need to know more about this. And what a great concept to actually bring it to, though, into the channeling of the day. Like, let's make the experience of this a reality and what it means for each individual person.
It's so true, Stormy. And like the more I do it, the more I realize we call in our day in the morning. We call in the day. And just like, the first hour, or I shouldn't even say that, at sunrise, for example, I said on a Monday, the moon rules that first section of the day. So to really get a flavor of the day, I got in the habit of getting up early, and it made me excited to get up. It really made me want to seize the day in my own way, and it really helped me rebound from, trauma that we all go through in some level, I believe.
Right. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. It's great. In the chat, people are like, yes, sign me up for this book. When is it out? Where do I get it? So I will.
Oh yeah. I can send you the link and a 20% off code if you'd like.
Oh gosh. Yes. I will make sure it is in the description box below this video, guys, after we wrap up the eat and greet, so you can go ahead and get it. But that is really exciting. I mean, that has, oh my gosh, that's already just peaked something, because you're right. I do have that sense too, that it's like when I sit on certain days, because I still dress and I make color decisions about what's on my desk and things like that, still based on planetary days.
Totally. Me too. And the only reason why I didn't wear green today is that I just couldn't find anything. Black is a good standard anyhow, but yes, me too.
Well, and it's funny because today I got up and I actually today went towards all of my green things and had a whole green outfit going. But today, for whatever reason, I was like, but I really need to bring in some heavy black and kind of take today. I think it's just some post Mercury retrograde to just be solid in what's left. like what's here today, bring that green all together. So it's actually very interesting.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
so.
drinking a green shake. So there we go. That's my green.
I had green tea and I have a green background, so we're solid. We've taken care of it. Beautiful. Okay, well, should we get in here then and let's talk about, and I know you have some slides, which we just love slides. So that's exciting. And we can talk about these planetary days. What's your favorite day?
Oh, Friday. Has to be Friday. For sure, Friday. And how about you?
Oh, my favorite day is Tuesday. Now, the day that I get a lot done, especially if I have something new going on, is Thursday.
Yeah.
But my favorite day is Tuesday. But I like Mars energy a lot.
Yeah. That's cool. And because you get stuff done, the satisfaction in that.
I think that, and I just have a really natural call in that energy. My Venus is in Aries, but my Mars, although it's in Libra, they're in mutual reception with each other. So to be in this Mars energy, and I just love the color red. Like I put on red and I'm like, friends, let me share some thoughts with you.
That's awesome.
What's your hardest day of the week energetically, have you found?
Sunday. And oddly enough, but doing this practice has really changed. I've had a mindset shift around that, and because I'm really uncomfortable with the boldness of my own son. And so I'm like, just like taking little bits of medicine instead of glugging it. Every Sunday I'm like, okay, Sasha, let's work on your issue with this being at the sun in your own life, So it was very therapeutic in that way. But I think the biggest shocker for me was Saturdays. Once I realized it was ruled by Saturn, oh my gosh, I was like, what am I doing? Like just kind of lazing around. I need to kick it. It's time to like settle up on everything left undone during the week. And once I started doing that, my life literally shifts.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's fabulous.
But how about you? How about what is your, not struggle day, but what do you have to consciously engage in?
Oh, Monday. Yeah, which makes me laugh because my North Node is in Cancer, right? So that movement towards that North Node. But the way that I've learned to work with Monday is to not worry so much about my moony qualities, right? But I really am very good at being receptive and responsive to other people. I'm like, okay, so what I've figured out is that on Monday, it's an emotional day. It's ruled by the moon. So what if I just try and make other people's Mondays easier or brighter? And that has been a wonderful workaround for me with that.
You get your mom on.
I do. I like go mom the planet, but also I do still have a Capricorn South Node. So I remember this guy was like, oh, Mondays just are shitty. And I was like, well, what if Monday had a shitty you? Like, so it's this very like, you have agency, but also I love you. it's a rough axis for sure. I'm getting better. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, it's your slides. Can you share?
Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go. Can I do this? Here we go.
Yeah. Ooh. I see some Canva.
Yeah, I think I have to move my little, there we go, present. Is this how we do this? I think we do this. Yay.
There you go.
All righty.
Pretty.
So we'll start off, and I really love the idea of the Mesopotamians using this technique before the Romans kind of got into it with their clocks and whatnot, right? So they started this dividing the week into 7 days. Like, who the heck knew? It could have been like a 3-day week. We don't know. But they started because it was the visible bodies in the sky that they were connecting with. And they believed that each planet was known for being particularly skilled in one area, just like we were speaking of, right? They further subdivided it from the planetary days of the week to the planetary hours of the day. So the day begins, so for example, Sunday begins at sunrise on Sunday. And that first, I want to say hour, but it's not necessarily an hour because it depends what time of the year it is, right? Because we have sunrise to sunset is the day, and then sunset to sunrise is the night, and you have all the planets in that. So if there's the summer, the hours for each planet is more. In the winter, the hours for each planet are more. So unlike the modern notion that all time and days are the same, right? Everything is, 60 seconds, 60 minutes, to 24 hours. That's not the same. Everything was fluid and was really dependent on what was going on in the skies. And I just love that. It really speaks to my life experience, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So also, we didn't talk about it, but the names of the days. So Monday, Moon Day, Sunday, Sun Day, and Mars is Tuesday. So for example, Luna means moon and lunes is Monday in Spanish. Martes means Tuesday, translated as Mars days. And it kind of went on from there.
Yeah. And it's interesting because in Korean, they call Mars, it's called Hwasong, and it means fire star. So the day of the fire star. And so Tuesday is Hayoil, which
that
means
is so cool.
Fire Star Day. Yeah. I just learned that in Korean class this week, guys.
So on a Sunday, and this is what I was talking, it took me a while. Sunday was my work on me day, kind of really sitting in the I am. It's that space for you to recharge, deal with kind of your reputation and ideas of fame. And for some people that's really easy, and for some people that's really hard. I happen to, and I say this, I feel like I say this in every one of our conversations, Stormy, but I have a conjunct sun Saturn. So there's, I'm working on it. But it's a time to welcome the sun's gaze and pull that effulgence into like planet on the earth just through your being you.
Which I have to tell you from the outside, and I've got a sun that's high in the sky. It's living its best life. But oftentimes, as we have worked together over this last bit of time, and I'll hear from you on Sunday, and I just send you a voice clip with all of my 10,000 ideas, and then you sun Saturn them and they become grounded into something we can use. I'm like, oh my God, that is sheer magic.
Oh, cool.
So outside in though, I guess my point is that sometimes I think where we're energetically at in that day or what's lighting up in our chart may actually be the blessing for somebody else. They can strongly interpret that.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Well, thank you for saying that. I love those voice messages. I really do. So Moon Day, Monday, the time to feel home. It's a good day. In ancient astrology, it's a good day for travel, for asking favors from women. So this is more when astrology becomes more like astro magic, and it's for me a time to sink into the feeling of the projects that you have and what you want to produce, to actually go to that point of feeling it, just because the feels are working so well that day. And good day to wear light blue, I think, or white, but combo thereof.
Yes, it's so funny because I think, on this channel, I laugh with Josh as we will sometimes look back at videos and he's like, I don't even actually have to know when you recorded it. I can look at what you had on. And he's like looking at a video and I have on this blue and silver eyeshadow and he's like, you recorded on a Monday. I know you did. And I'm like, it's true.
So is he an astrologer or you're just teaching him?
He's just married to an astrologer, God help him, but he does know Mercury retrograde now. He's like, got it.
So your favorite, Stormy's favorite day, Tuesday, I act, right? There's movement. This is a day for sports. This is a good day for working with men. There's more like energy available to take action and bust through blocks. For herbal astrologists, I've noticed that they recommend like nettle tea or things that really irony food, right? And to really, if you can, be as physical as you can, particularly if that's not your strong suit, because there's a blessing in it. It's almost like you're pleasing you're pleasing that energy of the day.
Yeah. Well, and I would wonder too, because like I said, this lights up so many prominent placements in my chart. Like, the minute that Venus energy, it's great. But when it hits my Mars energy, it lights up a whole stellium in my chart. But I wonder, in other people, or if you're listening, is Mars day a little bit of a challenge for you? And what does Mars energy activate in your chart? What characteristics, what qualities? So let me know in the chat section.
That's a great point. And also I should mention too, the red, you had said that you love red. This is Mars's color.
Yeah. So again, if you were ever watching videos, like if you're watching your monthly horoscope, you'll know what day I recorded it on.
I love it because it's almost like, you can call on, it's like either you do it, if you're in alignment, you might do it, or if you're calling on the energy to help you be in alignment, So yeah. Wednesday, today, Mercury's own day, is the day of green. Really, technically, it's the day of patina, all colors mixed together, which looks green. It's a great day to work. So I always say that Mercury and Venus together are my like creative dynamic duo, right? They're like the buddies for art. And so the Mercury is like the singing part, the recording part, the writing part, the like mind part, the hands part, the curiosity in the art making, the pulling down with his little antennas from wherever, from the data that's roaming about and bringing it into your creative space. And so I really love this aspect of Mercury. And, Stormy, I was noticing in when was it, 2019, for some reason, every Wednesday was rough for me. I don't know why. Energetically, it was rough. And then as soon as we hit into 2020 and now, they were so much better. And I almost, looking back, feel like it's like, I wonder if he was like doing that hard work to get ready for,
right,
years that we had, he was prepping himself to help us,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely valid. In Mercury, I think, because I remember that it doesn't ever travel far from the sun. So I do feel like for each of us personally, sometimes when we're going through Mercury growth phases, right, it is to be able to wave the flag, bring the words to what our sun has got going on. For sure, they're never far from each other. So makes a lot of sense to me. But it's also why the eat and greets they used to be all over the place because I'm Mercury out of balance. So I was like an explosion of information. And then I was like, well, I only want to talk about stuff on Wednesdays. So eat and greets on Wednesdays.
That works. Love it. So Thursday's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of growth. And my experience with Jupiter while he was in Capricorn was really interesting, I thought, because there's the color for Thursdays is yellow, and this growth that Jupiter brings, it's an expansion, right? So that could be in the waistline, or that could be with, your followers or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I really, so it's interesting in yoga theory, right? So I spent a lot of time studying yoga, and when you're studying yoga, when you're in this, when you're a student, you wear all yellow. And I never really understood what that was about until I started studying astrology, and I was like, oh yeah, Jupiter rules yellow. That makes total sense. You're bringing in that education, you're bringing in that expansion of knowledge, and also there's a guru-ness to the work in the yoga tradition. There's this austerity and this they call tapas, right? You kind of take what you need, but don't, that's the other side of Jupiter. You take what you need, you don't take more than you need, And when you do that, you get blessings. You have to have that right mind, kind of. So this is the day to focus on the part of your creativity you would like to see grow. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because during the week on Thursday, which is my favorite because it's Friday Eve, by the time a Thursday is rolling around, I'm really looking back to make sure everything is in alignment to continue to grow. That's usually what a Thursday looks like over here. Is I'm making sure that comments are answered. I am looking at the videos that are coming up. I'm doing all of those kinds of things. I'm answering emails, any of those things to make sure that it's coming, and I'm working from a clear, good place that also will continue growth and expansion.
I like that. That makes sense to me. So Friday, Venus's day, and it's so funny story because my grandmother, I have a memory, she would always go to the hair salon on Fridays, and I was just did not get it. I'm like, that is so, like, because they would get the curls and the hairspray, and it, like, that would set her for the week, you know what I mean? And it's not until I started studying astrology, I'm like, you know what? That was brilliant. That is the perfect day for self-care. That is the perfect day for fertile restoration, to love yourself and to, like, bring that just beauty and abundance and unapologetically care for yourself and others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is your experience of Friday?
Oh, it's just delicious. Oh my God, it is. I feel like Fridays are they're good. They're delicious. I put on my pink eyeshadow or my purple whatever. And Fridays, I am doing all of those things, just trying to be good. But also on Fridays, I really like to be in the world or be around things because Venus is a wonderful attractor. And with that, Venus and Aries in my chart, I learned that I don't have to go out and like club everything over the head and drag it back to the lair, that I can actually just go out and be with Venus and let things come as well. So on Fridays, I have some of the most interesting conversations with people. I'm stopping to have a little latte or a croissant or something, and then it's just this pleasant conversation. Stuff like that happens all of the time. I have a lot of clients who book on Fridays.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's an interesting day of attraction as well, I think.
Yeah, it's me time for them, really, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I know. What do you do on Fridays, or is it kind of a mixed bag?
It definitely isn't a mixed bag, but I do try to, I have Saturn oil, like Ayurvedic oil made by an Ayurvedic astrologer, and I have Venus oil. And so I'll do like this, like on Saturn, I'll do a dry brush, and then I'll oil my knees, especially in joints with it. And it's this wonderful, like she took my chart and made this oil specific for it, and it has like lotus pods and currants, and it just is delicious smelling. And then on Venus's day, I'll take a little bit of the oil and I'll make sure I do it at a Venus hour just because it's fun for me. And I'll like dab a little oil on myself, and I just feel I feel wonderful and beautiful, and I'm really in my skin doing that.
I love that.
It's funny, and the oil came with a disclaimer that said, this, Venus oil brings everything that you would assume, this beauty and like effulgence, but also you can tip a little over onto the haughty side. And I too have a 29 degrees Aries, so I aspire to be someone who doesn't club people over and drag them back to that. I'm working on it, but my gosh, it really I have to be conscious of that though too, like to let other people also have their Venus.
Absolutely. No, I just get that 1,000%, because I have noticed on Tuesdays and Fridays, a quality that I do have is that ability, like the more haughtiness, and sometimes what it can be. And my friend described it really well, I thought, at one point. She's like, sometimes you're like watching a really beautiful flame move around, and that's really attractive. And I'm like, yeah, but then you come talk to me and I'm like, hey, get out of here. What are you doing? Like, but so it is that extra quality of Venus. And I'm like, let's just have snacks.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good grounding thing, and very Venusian. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Saturday. Oh, I actually just love a good Saturday. I really do.
In what way?
It's like, just, it is. It's like, let's get the tacos in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Let's just pull it together, and all of the things, the tradition, Saturn, traditional things, the kids have volleyball, or we've got this, and, the Saturday things that kind of keep a structure and an order to things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love looking at it as a day for course corrections. So I'll go through and see what kind of text that I like ignored by accident, or emails that I didn't respond to, or if there's somewhere in my business life that I'm feeling a little bit like out of control. I'm like, okay, now's the time to rein it in and bring in that structure, just like what you're saying.
Yeah.
And Saturn is the planet for karma and form. And I just love that so much. I kind of think about that sometimes when I don't want to do stuff that I know I have to do. I'm like, it's energetic money in the bank, Sasha. You got to do it. Like, really, it's good.
That is good. Energetic money in the bank. Yeah.
Because and I think about that too. Like when Saturn's going to come out of retrograde, he once he gets like just like you say, once he gets his cosmic cup of coffee, I love when you say that, like, it's so true. Then then it's karma time a little bit. So like, we're not totally off the hook during hot girl summer,
That is right. But it's great because it's like Mars gives us that desire to do and to have and all of that kind of stuff. But Saturn actually makes sure we follow it through. Yeah. Right. Like Mars is like, I think it's great that you want to be an astrologer. And Saturn's like, yeah, but you have to produce content. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's in that way too, though, that like you're saying, after the work is done, the achievement portion of it is, that personal self-discipline, that fulfilling of achievement there, but also what we put out into the world. It's like, you've been practicing, get in the game.
Yeah. It's so true. And this is the one day that I do get up when the sun goes up, because that when the light first, the light comes up. So in my yogic teaching, I'm going to backtrack just for a second. You get up before the sun comes up to do your meditation. It's called Brahma Muhurta, and it's just like, it's a quiet time on earth. So if your mind is really in alignment, and then when that Saturn hour comes up, it can be a really productive chain of events during that day. Not to say that you're working all day, but it's just things flow, and it actually becomes easier to be in alignment like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Saturday mornings for me are so like they have been the same for probably a decade, short of like an emergency coming up or something like that. And they're structured and beautiful, and we know how to get in there and what's going on. But then it is funny that when you bring in the hours, right? Because then I get into Saturday afternoon and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? And it's for like an hour where I'm like, oh my God, I must be in a different space. Like this is not structured. Like I can feel it. So I think it's
Yeah.
interesting that you do, and you're a part of this group that's like focusing in on the writing too, so that you can feel and channel throughout the day. Like, what does it feel like to move through those hours? I could never explain why so many days at 2 o'clock, I would be like, gross. I don't like the day for like an
Yeah.
hour. And then I started learning about the hours and I was like, oh, well, this makes a lot of sense. I'm in a space that is not energetically sound for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time for siesta, little snack.
Yeah. Which is great because this time when I built my business, I
Mm-hmm.
built my business with a siesta.
Did you? Yeah, that works so well. I'm glad to hear that. Oh, that's the book I was talking about. Shameless
Oh,
plug.
yay.
So I'll send you that info. Thank you.
Yay. Oh my gosh, this is great. So I'm going to make sure, you guys, that the information and the discount code and all of the stuff that Sasha had too is in the description box down below,
Okay.
so that you can. And so can you tell us about the Ishram? How, if, is this
Oh yeah.
open? How do people participate? What's the situation?
Yes. So I usually do 2 or 3 a year. I haven't done any yet this year, but I will be doing it in September, Mercury retrograde, and then Venus retrograde in December. So they're specifically designed to be done through the retrogrades. And I have this great new platform that I'm so super excited to be working on. That's going to be like you're going to a virtual ashram. So there'll be like a map. See, I grew up going to an ashram as a child. My best memories ever. So there's a yoga hall, and there's a meditation hall, and there's a place for where everybody eats meals, etc. And it's kind of like a wellness retreat for people who don't know what an ashram is. It's like it's like a spa, a health spa for the soul.
Yeah.
And so the Mercury retrograde one in September is 20 days long, and then the Venus, 22 days, and then the Venus retrograde one in December is 40 days. And every day, we start off, I do your chart. We talk about kind of what you're thinking about working on, if anything, or if you just want to learn more about your creative cycle. That's my focus. How do you engage with your creativity? What are things you can do to help you jump over obstacles that may come? And you can many times see that maybe in the chart, along with your lived experience. That's really important. So journal keeping and starting the day in that way is really important in the ashrams. And there's an end of the day reflection, which is so beautiful to kind of be prompted to be like, okay, you had this idea for your day, you mapped it out, and it's not cumbersome. It's not meant to be, but it's meant to every day bring you back to that alignment every day in hopefully very pleasant ways. So by the end of the day, you look back and you're reflecting on your day and like, what do you feel grateful for? And that prompt is so beautiful, particularly if you don't naturally do that. I am grateful for my life. I don't naturally do it. I don't know why. So having a prompt and this moves people into spaces where, for artists that I mostly work with, you know, they get back into the studio, they start creating content, they start writing. It becomes their whole space becomes shifted more towards this creative flow, which I believe it increases brain gray matter, which helps you decrease stress and helps you live in spaces where you have what they call divergent thought. So you can hold multiple concepts that aren't the same at the same time. And we can actually stimulate that in our own brain, which I think the world could use more of.
Yeah, well, and if this is what you've created and you're doing and is your give to the world, and also where you are, you know, sharing your piece of you to guide people to their creative path, I mean, I think it's absolutely incredible. So we'll make sure that that's in the description box down below as well, you guys. So lots and lots to breathe in with you, Miss Sasha. Layers and layers.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. I'm so excited to have been on YouTube.
I know, it's so funny. I just love that you were like not in the chat today. That's probably my favorite part of this whole thing. So yay. But you guys, thank you so much for showing up. And hopefully in this last little bit of time that we've been together, you heard something or you're able to take something with you that is worth the time that you took to show up. I hope you'll go investigate what Miss Sasha's up to over there as well. And we will see you guys next Wednesday for the next Eat and Greet. And we'll see you in the YouTube Academy as well. So I love you guys very